And if I can add too, that I know that image matters because let's just look at it very quickly. Rob Liefeld fell in another path. He was there at the beginning. Jim Lee, Whilce moved on. We've added people, we've subtracted people. There's different books there. Today, Spawn could go away, and Image comic book would be very fine, thank you. And although we sit here today with us, the founders here, I look down in that room, there's a whole room downstairs, walk around, and very little of it is coming from the original founders themselves. So we could all get hit by a bus, and Image is going to survive regardless. We've now created enough offspring that are now carrying the flag for us that it's going to work. And I know, Marc said, our obituaries were written that very first year. They thought we were going to fail. But I knew there was guys like Erik, who's, you know, and Robert's like this too. They're just calm. I want to say, I'm going on record saying, I admire Erik more than anybody else of all my partners for just being single-minded in his vision of just wanting to do comic books the way he saw it. He didn't have any bigger vision, to be honest. He just wanted to do.
That's a fit.
That's it. Right. That's a fit. And so, and my admiration for him is that he started it. So I know that somewhere along the line, Erik's sort of, just like me, immature enough or stubborn enough that Image will live at least my lifetime. Because I promised everyone here, and I've got enemies that I just want to spite, that I will have that Image logo on Spawn until the day I die. So it will live at least my lifetime. And I'm hoping Erik goes a lot longer. And if you can find one guy downstairs that keeps it going, it's just going to keep going. It's going to keep going, and it's going to transform itself. We don't know better or worse than it is right now. But as you said, something happened in 1992. And I hope 100 years from now we're having a convention. It'd be cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you guys have questions, guys? If you want to ask any questions, if you want to do line up at the microphone, we're running out of time, so I'll make sure you guys get a chance to talk. Tell us your.
It's our convention. Jesus.
Sure, yeah.
One more question on us.
So just say your name and then you got one.
My name's Lou. My question is, many of you have had some really phenomenal successes and many challenges and going into different media. To what degree do you work together as friends with advice and mentoring and dealing with other industries like Hollywood or things?
Did you say friends?
Yeah. Colleagues, if you prefer.
I can say Todd has helped out quite a bit. Getting on the phone and talking about, the Walking Dead show and all that kind of stuff. And Rob actually is pretty savvy in Hollywood and
with nothing produced.
with nothing.
I'm not really sure why he's saying this, but that's nice.
Oh, but you've had a ton of experience dealing with a ton of people out there, and so both of them have really helped me out in knowing when to listen to people and when to not listen to people and all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I benefit from them greatly. I wouldn't call them friends.
No, yeah.
We all do talk to a fair extent. And when we're having experiences where you're going, okay, what do I do here? These would be the first guys I'd call.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you say friends, but they're more like partners, in what we're doing. I mean, maybe Todd can go and finance his own movie, and which he's going to do, but for the most part, you kind of have to make good partnerships in Hollywood, because at that point, you're not cutting the checks, but that said, you got a guy like Robert coming into a room, and these days, plus he's proven himself on his own, but these days, the creator of something like a comic book that has real value, that creator has value. So, back when we first started, like, dipping our toe in another medium, I would walk in the room when we were doing the Wishblade movie, the Wishblade TV series, the live action one, and I was the comic book guy. The attitude was like, thanks, let us do our job. It's like, fuck you. Serious? Yeah. And I had Oliver Stone on my side of the table, originally. He bailed because we had some disagreements with the network, but, we overcome that stigma. And now Rob, I guarantee, has a different experience because there's a respect now. Now when I walk in the room, there's more of a respect, and Todd, obviously, he commands respect, whether he gives it to him or not. And it's like, you got to pick your people that you're working with.
But I just want to touch on one thing. It's one thing that, look, they'll all tell you, I fell asleep at all the business meetings. So when these guys start talking about business, and I just, Image Comics to me was always, and even now 20 years later, is about camaraderie. There's some magic that we all created, and that's why Kirkman fit in. I mean, he is like our kid, like our mutual family. Wow. We had this, when we would meet every 6 weeks, I mean, like I said, Todd was a mentor to me, Valentino was a mentor to me, I shared a studio with him. Jim Lee, Whilce, Larsen. Well, I bonded with Larsen and Todd like the first day I met them, and we literally were inseparable for 3 days at San Diego. That was the seeds that, that's the late 80s. That's where it all began, and we trusted each other. And, the thing is, I just don't see it, and when people go, could it happen again? I used to kind of kid myself and think that it could be replicated. Absolutely, it cannot. I'm now of the belief it cannot. That we had a camaraderie, a mutual respect. I was in awe of every guy on this table, at this table, and Jim Lee, and but we had a great time being together. We were literally this fun, like crazy frat house that just happened to become the #2 publisher. And again, we only had a limited time, but we were just 7 guys drawing 7 books, and one day, again, I got a call. Hey, we're #2. What?
We passed DC comic books.
We're 7 books.
You can't even complete 2 hands, just 7. And we were the #2 comic company in the world. And again, you go, what we did together, and I mean, we had a gas. We just had a blast. And when you guys come up to us at this show, and we sign your books, and you're sharing your memories with us, we cherish those times. I know I did. I mean, from conventions, nobody, not even Marvel and DC, have had a tent erected. They gave us a circus tent in Chicago in 1992. We were away from the convention just to accommodate us. I mean, there was an insanity, and you've heard it. Marc's mentioned it, Todd mentioned it, because he is insane. But the insanity is part of the company. Marc mentioned the dysfunctionality. But at the end of the day, there's always been a camaraderie and a great draw. It can't be replicated. And it won't be. But that's what we share, and we've shared with you guys, and it's this mutual back and forth that has made it so special.